Hello everybody and welcome to the GMS Magazine channel. I am Paco Garcia, your host. I have enjoyed Dragon Dawn Productions games for a very long time. I mean, since I started going to Spiel in 2011, and every year they come out with something really quirky, really good. And I have with me Dwarf, a game of forging, mining, and fight for glory in a shifting mountain. This is a very small game designed by Lee Broderick that, well, it plays 1 to 3 players, and it has 2 different play modes in solitaire, which I am very interested in. But before I tell you anything about it, we need to find out if this game is actually worth the amount of money that you have to pay to get your hands on it. Well, I'm about to show you. Welcome to the GMS Magazine board game review videos. Disclaimer, this is not a full review, this is more of an unboxing, but then I did already the unboxing in the past, but we did it at home during the coronavirus lockdown. The result wasn't really good and I wanted to repeat the whole thing. So I'm going to give you a bit more information than just the unboxing to hopefully help you decide if you want to buy this game or not. Dwarf is a game that plays between 1 and 3 players. You can play more players if you have different sets of the game though, so you are not limited. But it promises an awful lot. The game is quite small. It's a tiny little box that, you know, I don't have very big hands, but that's the size of it. And it's actually very lavishly and beautifully illustrated by Lars Munch, which I don't know who he is, but he's very good, I can tell you, and we're going to see why in a minute. Production value of the game is actually quite okay, which is something that we are used to in Dragon Dawn. There are some things that could be improved, but not if we're going to keep the price down, which we do. So instead what they do is they invest in heavier card boxes, which this one definitely feels very solid, and some beautiful illustrations. If I put the box aside, I can show you the rulebook. The rulebook, the English version, is a little bit on the tight side. I wish it had a bit more space, you know, a couple more pages to show everything a bit more in detail, because it's difficult, hard to read in places. But other than that, it's just, you know, 4 pages. That is all there is, and it has space for a glossary. So it's not impossible to read, but make sure that you don't have any distractions when actually delving into this rule book. Everything is where it's meant to be. Some of the explanations they're going to need a little bit of thinking about, which is why I'm thinking about making some videos explaining how to play the game. But overall, it's actually next to nothing. It's a fairly simple game. The scoring is a little bit complicated. You have to count some tokens, and then some more tokens that, you know, icons in the cards, not tokens, I beg your pardon. And then there's a tie. Then you have to check on these other icons, and then you have some gold coins. It takes a little bit of getting used to. Once you do, you do, but it takes a little bit of getting used to it. It tells you how to combine your sets and how to play solitary. Now this is the interesting bit of the game, the solitary bit, but I will tell you about it as soon as we take a look at the rest of the components. We have a number of cards, lots of them in fact. The cards come in different languages as well, so essentially they have tried to minimize the costs of producing the game. They have been very clearly labeled. I do like, I have to say, the design of the card, and the icons are large enough that you're not going to spend ages and ages and ages looking for them. The only icon that you really have to keep in mind very much, which is not that visible and it should be a little bit more, is this one here, immediately underneath the grid. Why? Because this is going to determine the level of the mine, this first, second and third level, and you will need to separate these cards in different decks that you will put on top of the other to make sure that the cards are placed on the grid at the right time and in the right order. This is the only one that when I was reading the instructions I was a little bit, wait a second, how? Where is this? Oh, here it is. It took me a little while. Other than that, the icons are huge, which is very good. Everything is very clearly marked, which is quite nice. Oh, look at that, more reference cards in different languages. So these are actually good. The actions that will allow you each card to do, they are okay. So overall, the anatomy of the card has been well looked after. What else? We have 3 bags. This one already open for the players, and in each bag we are going to find 3 things. 4 absolutely adorable mining dwarf nipples, which they come with the little pickaxes and the little hammers, which is lovely, really lovely. And then we're going to get some cubes of some size, some cubes of medium size, and some small cubes. I wish there was a way to make these different, because even though when you see them beside the other they are different enough, but the fact is that they're very similar. So having different shapes would have been way better. Cubes, cylinders, chits, for instance. That would have been much easier to see when you put these on the cards. And it is exactly the same for each player. So this is my only real criticism of the game in terms of the production. Then we get the first player token. Now the first player token is just a larger cheat that has 2 stickers that you, not me, you have to stick on the chit, because it doesn't come stuck on your chit. That's just a way to make things less expensive, which I understand. And if the camera shows this is, I'm not very good at sticking these labels on, which is, I'm just rubbish at it. What can I say? So, you also get little green cylinders and purple cubes that you're going to be using in game. That's it. That is all the game comes with. Does it play nicely? Well, I tell you, yes, that's the truth. But what I like the most is the solo mode, because when you play the solo mode, the cool thing about it is that you have 2 different characters, and the characters are going to play depending on the color of the meeple that appears on the cards. Because where they appear on the grid of the card, you have to make a grid of 3 by 3, by the way, and that's your mine. That's the mine that you're going to be mining and forging and so on and so forth. depending on where they are, that's the place that it's going to be taken at the beginning of each round, and thus it's going to be harder for you to be there, and it changes everything, pretty much everything. So I do like how something as simple as this place is taken is what determines the solo mode, and how by changing, choosing two different places, the game changes enough that you can play solo in two different ways to have more replayability. That I did like a lot as an idea. I thought it was actually very, very original and works very well. It's actually very well executed. So, this is the production. This is my experience thus far with the game. So, production value, it is well done. It's a game that evidently doesn't have the economic back of a large company, but knowing what I know about Dragon Dawn Productions and knowing what I know about Timo and his gaming mind, this is likely to be a game that you will bring at the table if you like resource management games, something that you will probably bring at the table an awful lot, considering that you could put this on one of these sets, in a bag, and you can take it with you anywhere. A solo game, yeah, I would definitely say it is worth it. But my opinion matters as much as yours, and I would love to hear what you have to say. So please do leave me a comment and let me know if you've played this game, if you have already bought it, if it's disappointed you or not, and what your experience been. So thank you very much indeed for being there. I truly, truly appreciate it. And I very much look forward to hearing from you very soon. But until the next time, I'll talk to you soon.